Hey guys, it's Rosie. Wow, a lot has happened. Tati's video came out, and everything became a shitstorm. And I'm gonna put the poll I posted on Twitter today up right now in front of the screen. I was gonna do a reading on Rich Lux first, but after everything that's come out, especially the Instagram live that Shane did, it's pretty obvious to me that people want to know what Ryland and Shane's dynamic is behind the scenes. Very overwhelmingly so. Like, I got 42 votes and it was like 85% people wanted a Shane and Ryland reading before a Rich Lux reading. So my next reading probably will be Rich Lux. I'm gonna try to film both either tonight or just one today and tomorrow the next day. Tomorrow, the Rich Lux. Okay, sorry, I'm still like in shock from everything that came out, but I am gonna be using my Mermaid deck. This is a new deck that I received. I think some of you guys follow me on Twitter. If you don't, you should follow me on Twitter. Link is in the description. I use this deck on Twitter. This is the deck. I am going to be using this book for reversals that come out, because it is a new deck and I'm not quite used to it. So if you heard page flipping, that's why. Getting used to it. Not every tarot has the same definitions, and when it's not reversals, I'll just give I'm going to give my instinct and my overall vibe that I'm getting from the card, whether it's right side up or reversed, before I read the book one or go over the book one, but I am going to go over the book one as well, just so I cover all my bases, and over time I'm not going to need to reference the book, but because I don't know, I started using this deck for all drama related stuff and I like it a lot. I don't know, there's something about this deck that just works. I was predicting a few things using this deck that ended up coming true. In fact, just celebratory, all the readings I did, all 3 that I posted on this channel so far, they all came true. So I'm happy about that. I'm really happy I was right about Shane and, not Shane, bleh, sorry. I'm really happy I was right about Tati and James having made up. So I'm gonna get into the Shane and Ryland reading, because I think that B, shout out to B, her channel, she's been doing a lot of overall what's next of this Karmageddon readings. So I want to focus on Shane and Ryland because that's what people have been requesting. So I'm going to be using, it's going to be very ocean themed. Most of these drama readings are going to be ocean themed. This is the ocean tarot I'm using, the Mermaid tarot. This is an oracle deck. I'm going to have these all in the description. I'm going to be using 2 oracle decks. This is also a new oracle deck right here that I received. So I'm using these 2 with this reading. And then of course the charms, which I would never not use. I need a second, because Shane's energy has shifted so unapologetically as all these allegations come out, more and more things are coming out. So his mental state is chaotic. So I'm gonna try to be tapping into Ryland a little bit more than Shane. I believe Ryland is a Taurus. Let me just check. Just real quick, gonna check. Just curious. Because that does matter for me. Yep, he's a Taurus, a Gemini moon, that makes sense, and Capricorn rising, very earthy. His moon is the emotional capacity you have. So the sign you have in your moon, that's like how you process emotions. And Gemini is very flip-floppy. Gemini is also very two-faced. It's very this or that. I think Ryland is a bit... Ignore the fireworks if you hear them. It's not even July 4th, and it's not even July 1st, and people are setting them off in my neighborhood, so just ignore that. I'm gonna start shuffling. Oh, Jesus. See how chaotic it was? Like, things already start trying to fall off the table. We all saw the live video that Shane posted stupidly, and obviously Ryland did not want him to post it, because the second he realized or caught wind that Shane was on his phone, he told him to get off. And I noticed that, and I noticed that Shane even hesitated to listen to him, but he did eventually do that. I wish I posted it. I'll put a picture up here if I did take a picture of the spread, but I don't think I did. I did pull 3 cards because I was curious about Ryland and Shane, and what I got, and maybe it'll pop up again, watch it does, that'd be so crazy, was the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. The 9 of Swords, if it does pop up, I'll explain it, but in case it doesn't, in this deck, the 9 of Swords is depicted as a researcher, a human researcher in a tent on a cliff. And he's like covering both his ears with his hands. And there's this merman at the bottom of the cliff. And he's like trying to get to the top to where the researcher's in the tent, and he's like pleading and screaming. And the description of that card is, the researcher tries to sleep as the siren screams and begs him to join him in the ocean. And I feel like that's what Ryland, like if you have me on Twitter, you also notice that I post the stages of grief in response to Ryland's angry tweets standing up for Shane. And that's because I suspect, this is just my intuition, and we'll see if this theory, supports that. But I think that Ryland was silent for all the, P-word allegations on Shane because there was nothing to refute, if that makes sense. There was nothing to refute, but with Tati's video, there is you can have a disagreement, or you can nitpick about details that she's spoken about. And that's what Ryland is clinging to, because that was the first instance he saw. I'm gonna pull this. That was the first instance he saw where he could defend Shane, or there was something he could refute and it might be accurate. Maybe she made a tiny mistake, I'm gonna call her out for it, because that, in the stages of grief, I think the first stage of grief is shock, the second stage of grief is denial, and the third is anger. And I think Ryland is in between denial and anger towards Shane and everything going on with Shane. But that's just my 2 cents. And I'm gonna see if this reading reflects that still. Because, and I said this in my tweet, but I'll say it here as I shuffle my personal thoughts on it before the cards say anything. When you are with someone for 4 years, I think it's almost 5, right? I'm not sure of the timeline, but when you're with someone for that long, and they got engaged pretty much yesterday. I know it's been a few months, but practically yesterday they got engaged, metaphorically speaking. And he accepted that proposal. Ryland is willing to spend, or was willing to spend the rest of his life with Shane and have a family with Shane and raise children with Shane, and now all these allegations are coming out, and all this evidence is coming out, and video proof, and you can say whatever you want about Ryland and everything, and none of us know him personally really, but I think Ryland would be a great father. I do. I think he'd be a very loving dad to kids, and I think that regardless of how much denial or shock he'd be in seeing those videos and how Shane is interacting with children, I don't think anyone would not reconsider having a family with Shane if they saw what we all saw this week. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And I don't want this video to be overly long because I don't have that much storage space on my phone. So I'm going to get right into the reading. Ooh, saw that, right? That flipped itself over. That also wanted to come out right there. That one. Actually, I want that one too. I want you, and I want you. Okay. both of these oracle decks, I read right side up only. Just telling you ahead of time. So if you see me flip one of these other way around when I have it down, that's why. There's certain oracle decks I read both ways, and certain ones I do not. This is one I do not. Sometimes I forget to shuffle and frame, my bad. I'm gonna try to pull 4 from each. Did you see that? What the heck? That's crazy. I want that there. Mutually beneficial venture. It flipped itself over, so interesting. That one wants to come out. Okay. Love when that happens. Takes the work away from shuffling. That one's sticking out. I need one more right here. One more spirit. That's a lot more than one, but which one of these then? That one, just the back one, okay. Okay, time to flip these all over. Queen of Wands, that's fire energy. Ooh. Do I have Morgan's sign written down? I think I have Morgan's sign written down, but I'm just wondering, she's a Leo, isn't she? If I remember. Yeah, she's a Leo, that's Morgan. Queen of Wands, that's actually the card that represents me the most. Even though I'm a Cancer, I'm a Leo moon. That's the card I relate to most in every tarot deck I use. Let me get my charms. Okay, I don't know how to show, I'm not looking. Eventually I'll show my face when I can do makeup and not sweat it all off in 5 minutes. That fell off the table. I heard it. Need some more. A few more here. Okay. Oof, what fell off the table? Is the question. The number is 0. Interesting. Alright, put it. Just gonna drop it somewhere. Okay. Gotta get into this. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me if I sneeze. I'll edit it out. No, I won't. I'm lying. I'm too lazy to edit it out. Okay. This is the energy as of lately between the two of them. And I'll tell you once I look at the card and look into the card if it's one or the other. 10 of Pentacles. Okay. That's financial stability to the max. 10 of Pentacles is like, we've done it. Look at all of the things we have. Look at what we're going to live with. Look at what our home is. This Pentacles is Earth. It's again Ryland's Taurus, Capricorn rising. It's like money, earthly tethers, career, finance. It's 10 of Pentacles is like complete balance between with your bill. No money worries. This is like we don't have to worry about money at all. We're set for life. Look at this beautiful home that we can build together. That's what they're struggling to keep. Like, I'll show you the artwork on this card, but I'm gonna open the book and look at it. They're starting with the fireworks, so try to ignore that. Sorry. The charm on here is the quote, and you'll see that I always pull out these quotes, and it's the same ones over and over. The difference between a flower and a weed is judgment. It's a really good quote. Really sorry about the fireworks, guys. Okay. Just gonna look up the definition. Oh, that was a green bead, and that was right there. Ten of Pentacles. There's a saying that goes something like, the more you bless, the more blessings you have. Here at the Mermaid Feast, they're not only counting their blessings, but they're sharing them. Sharing one's blessings is the greatest way to honor them. Family of mermaids knows it's blessed and also understand that the more they honor their blessings, the more blessings they will have to share with those around them. Ten of Pentacles reminds us that we often have more than we think we do. By taking a mental inventory of all that we have, we come to see we are in a much better place than our fears and doubts want us to believe. Just for today, bless your blessings, and then see how you can share them with those close to you and in your local community. Okay. So kind of self-explanatory, right? It's trying to live in the moment. It's denial. They're both. I don't even think Shane is feeling the stages of grief. I think he's just trying to save his own ass, and he's pretending to Ryland, or has been for this whole time, like, don't worry about it, it's all lies, you know? Everything's fine. And as I said before, and I will always say, I forgot to do at the beginning of my video, disclaimer, this is alleged for entertainment purposes only, okay? Just gonna say that. Gotta remember to say that in the beginning. So the difference between a flower and a weed is judgment. It's like Ryland tries to go out the door. It's a metaphor, by the way. This is a metaphorical house that they're in. Shane and Ryland are in this metaphorical house, not the real house. And Ryland is trying to look at there's like a mob outside, right, screaming, right? And he's trying to peek out the windows, and Shane's closes the curtain. He's like, don't look at that. Don't worry about it. That's my problem. It's not your problem. My problems aren't your problems. You know, like that kind of, oh, sweetie, don't worry about it. It's my problems, not yours. You don't have to deal with it. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. And Ryland wants to like go in the backyard and sit and relax in the morning and look at the nature in the backyard around the house. And there's a bunch of weeds growing. You know, another way to say weeds would be like a mob, like the screaming mob, all these allegations, all these things. And Shane's like, no, you don't have to look. Just know there's flowers. You know what I mean? He's trying to skew Ryland's judgment. And it goes back to that, I didn't pull Nine of Swords, but it goes back to the whole, I just lost my train of thought. It's those fireworks, they're distracting. Oh, Shane's skewing Ryland's judgment, and it goes back to the card, the Nine of Swords, that I was telling you guys about in the beginning of the reading, where the siren that's trying to get the researcher's attention. The researcher doesn't know what to believe, if he's supposed to listen to the siren or try to sleep and figure out his own opinions. Like, Ryland is and has been always taking Shane's word for things because of their mutual trust. And of course, you might ask, like, oh, what's the fuel for that? Like, what reason would he have to do that? Like, what would benefit him if he did that? The money. You know, Shane brings in the money in the household. And right here, mutually beneficial venture, that's the one that like shot itself out of the deck. There is an extraordinary connection at the forefront of your life at this moment. Utilize this relationship to benefit everyone concerned. It's like, I can't say anything because I'm not bringing in anything, you know? I have to let Shane handle it because that's what got us all these things that we have and where we are today. That's that, okay? And this says energy field adjustment, aura cleansing, and health. Like, come on, right? Like, self-explanatory. This is like, I just want to cleanse and shut out all the negativity. And it's like, you can't shut out the negativity if it's, you know, you can think that the negativity is outside of your realm where you're residing, but it's the person sleeping next to you. So this is that energy of, he doesn't know what to think right now. I told you that stages of grief, he's in the middle of denial and anger. He's looking for something that he can defend on Shane's behalf. And right now that's Tati's video. The reason he was quiet about the other thing, I think I already said the P word, I hope I didn't, but if I did, whatever. But that's something you can't defend. And that's something he's trying to just trust Shane about, that it's all lies. But he doesn't know for sure, which is why he's not saying it out loud in public on Twitter, like he did today with Tati's video. You see, and this is the current situation. Seeing both sides. That's the first thing I saw. That's what Ryland's trying to do. But of course he's gonna be leaning heavily towards Shane's side because he loves Shane. Take a step back and try looking at this from a different perspective. I'm telling you, there's gonna be a point where Ryland starts looking at things from a perspective, from everyone else's perspective, and can't be skewed by Shane. Okay, we have the yin-yang symbol, relax. That's what he wants to do, but it's face down. Like, he's trying to relax, you know, and it's like, nope, you can't. We have this is the tourist bus. Oh, I bet they wish they could join Jeffree. You know what I mean? Like, that's what that tells me right there. And it's on top of this card, which I can't see, so I'm gonna get into that. And then the yin-yang is balance. This is the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Four of Pentacles reverse. That to me looks like how they're interpreting Tati and what this is. Like, this is an attack, right? This is a character assassination to save her ass. Like, that's what they're going with. And I'm gonna just, like I said, I'm gonna pull this up. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Have you ever stopped yourself from engaging with the world around you because you thought it might take something from you or cost you too much? This kind of fear isolates you and disconnects you from the simple joys of being alive. You can't stay on the rock forever. You must eventually move despite your fears. That's Ryland staying inside. What I say? It's Ryland staying inside. Not looking at this person, not looking at this mob, this chaos on Twitter, these allegations that are going on. Not looking. I'm not looking. If I don't see it, it's not real. But there's this feeling of, I know I can't do that forever. I have to look at these and process them and develop my own opinion that's not manipulated by others around me. Okay? That's the yin-yang. It's like there's an imbalance here. Okay? Long term, yeah, this is kind of long term. Like, this is the most important thing. This is, do I trust who I want to marry? That's what this is. Oh my gosh, I got chills. Trust. Face down. He doesn't know if he can trust Shane, deep down. I don't think he's expressed this to Shane yet, but he's having doubts, or beginning to. It's in his subconscious. Like, there's that, you know, that feeling in your chest when you know something's wrong. You're pretending everything's okay, the rose-colored glasses, right? You just got with someone, or you love someone, you're in love with them, so they did something you disapprove of, or you hate. And what do you do? Oh, well, he didn't mean that, he meant this, right? Excuses. We make excuses for people when we know that something's not right. It says, if you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. That's what that quote says on this card. That's literally like, no, I'm sure that there's a good side to this, right? I'm sure that there's, I'm just looking at the bad. I'm sure there's good somewhere, and he's like sifting through all the things that all the while, by the way, getting Shane's opinion about it, which is skewing his perspective, you know, it's influencing Ryland's opinion. So that's what I feel like that card is. This, I said this was Morgan. I still believe this is Morgan. This is Spark. Strength. And there's a graduation tat. This is from my, I think it was middle school or something like that. I went to Catholic school until like 5th grade. I don't know what this is from, but it's from one of my graduations, the class of 2001. Maybe junior high, but that's not the point, sorry. Got distracted. But this, graduating, strength, and spark. Morgan unfollowed Jeffree before Tati's video even came out. And I think Morgan and Ryland are at odds right now. I do. I truly believe that. I'm just gonna pull up Queen of Wands here, just to make sure that because again, still getting used to this deck. Because I just want to know what their version of the Queen of Wands in this deck is. Queen of Wands teaches us that life and death are one and the same. Where things grow, others die. Where things expand, others contract. Despite this paradox, she wants you to act, move forward, and create something new, exciting, and unlike anything you've ever done before. She knows that something in your life needs to be pulled down or destroyed so that the new thing can take its place. This, see, Morgan to Ryland. I think at first she thought it was Jeffree. And she, you know, Shane was gonna be her brother-in-law. Like, she's looking out for Shane, probably thinking that Jeffree's corrupted Shane. Jeffree's the same thing Blair White and Tati Westbrook had felt about Jeffree. Morgan's a good person, and I feel like Morgan never really was comfortable around Jeffree. When I watched the video footage of the documentary with Morgan and Jeffree's interactions, she doesn't look comfortable to me. That's my opinion. That was my perspective. Take a moment to tune in the fiery power and let her energy seep in your veins. Let her show you where to wield your creative power and how to create something meaningful, passionate, and full of intent. So, Morgan's advice was ignored. Straight up. I think we all know that. But notice she's, I don't think we're gonna see her around a lot. I mean, they're probably not gonna make a lot of videos for a while, Shane in general, but I don't know why, but I have a feeling maybe she'll come out and have her own perspective at some point. Like her own video on her own channel. We'll see. That just kind of popped in my head, so maybe that'll happen, we'll see. If it does, I said it here first. We have Gryffindor. Morgan is for sure a Gryffindor, just saying. Stress. Gryffindor is bravery as well, and then the money, but it was face down. It's like losing money, we know that. And then this is the Page of Swords in reverse. Page of Swords is like child mindset for, it's immaturity. It's like, swords are thoughts, logic, debate, and Page is like a child's perspective on debating and feelings. That's Shane's energy, and it's even though Swords is air signs and Shane's water sign, as you can see, this little mermaid girl is underwater still. I think this was Shane's little tantrum. It's the current situation, right? This was his little tantrum. This is Hero. On top of, like, you know, him wanting to be, I'm the hero. Like, he's very, this is just my personal opinion. I think Shane's a bit delusional right now. Because things are coming out and he wants to live in his own world where everything he's done, he was justified in doing it. And I think he's convinced himself. Leaping through the air, a plan you have made is on track. If you're waiting for something, get to work and stop putting off ideas or projects you're considering. He's gonna do a response video to Tati. I think we know that. Maybe with Jeffree, I don't know. Maybe they team up and they're in the same video together. I don't know, because I'm pretty sure Jeffree threw Shane under the bus. Didn't he take Shane's conspiracy palette off of Morphe website? Because I know that Jeffree's like part of Morphe. He owns part of Morphe. But he took the conspiracy palette off the website, but his makeup's still on the website, Jeffree's. So he's really just throwing, I heard this from one of the drama channels. I love the way they worded this. Jeffree's really throwing Shane to the wolves. I think Peter said that, Peter Monn. But he's really throwing Shane to the wolves, so if this is Shane being like, I'm gonna expose it because I need to stand up for who I am, and his skewed perspective, delusional perspective of him being, you know, smeared, right? It's very ironic, isn't it? If you think about it. Just saying, like, what the goal was last year of making making James go through this, and the ironic part is that Shane's going through way worse than James did, and it's the same downfall, except one person was falsely attacked and the other one was exposed for much worse things that they've done. Anyway, I'm just gonna look up Page of Swords in reverse. This is a very depressing energy, guys. Like, I used to be a big fan of Shane, and now I'm just so, like, disgusted, and I know this reading's about Ryland and Shane, but I think that has a hand in this energy in this reading, is the disappointment and the shock of what is being uncovered about someone we thought we knew, right? Sorry, just trying to get, there we go. Like the lessons of all the pages, you may think this one does not apply to you. You consider yourself already well-groomed in making decisions and don't understand why you should have to go back to basics and restrain your mind. Like I said, this is that childish, this is Shane's energy when he went on that live. The truth is, you're not as good as you think at deciding which thoughts are helpful, which habits are supportive, and which flashes of inspiration to follow. You have made numerous mistakes and have not seen any substantial results so the page has swum into your life to offer assistance. Take a step back and see where you could be more active and less impulsive in your decision making just for a moment. It surely can't hurt, what I say. So I think that the book is just a crutch, because clearly I know what it meant. And the loss of money, it was stress. This is Shane's perspective. This is Shane, this is Morgan, this is Ryland. This is the current situation in their house. Or in their space. Because Morgan's been the one that's been over at their house the most. Otherwise, it's just been the two of them alone. Like, I don't even think Andrew's there. I don't even think Andrew helped Shane film his apology video. I think Andrew and Garrett are much closer than Andrew and Shane, but that's just my instinct. This is the most likely outcome. We have Soul Cage, rescue, escape from captivity, and restriction. Well, if this is the most likely outcome, I think that tells you what Ryland's mindset's gonna shift to. You're gonna see those tweets that he made defending Shane deleted at some point this week. That's just my prediction. Okay. This card, let me just check. 7 of Wands in reverse. 7 of Wands is like being surrounded by enemies. I believe in reverse, it's like being overwhelmed by those enemies. Not just surrounded or accused. It's like I feel, this is just before I check the book, but I feel like this is, I have been closing my eyes and pretending all these weeds are flowers, and pretending there's not an angry mob outside the door, and everything's fine, and everything's lies, and everything has an explanation. And then you finally, this is the moment, I think, for Ryland, of opening your eyes and seeing all of the shit that's actually there. It's like stepping out of Shane's delusion and thinking for himself. Because right now he's part of Shane's shared delusion. He's sharing in Shane's delusion. In Shane's weird, skewed world where he's the hero, where he's the one, he's the victim, you know? I think Shane is always the victim in their dynamic. In any situation that they talk about that has to do with Shane making a mistake. In their interactions, in their energies, in their dynamic, Shane is always the victim. Shane is never the one that did anything wrong on purpose. He never meant to do that. He would never do that. That was never his intention. And Ryland's been on the receiving end of that. That's what I got from that. And let me just look it up to make sure that because even if this is a different thing than what I said about this card, I still feel like what I said is also true about that card. Because that's my intuition. That's my initial reading off the card. So, and let me know what you guys think of this deck, if you like the one I've been using better, or if you like this Mermaid view for the drama readings. Okay. It doesn't take much to turn a good situation bad, and right now you may have done the very thing that has flicked the switch. Stomping your feet in frustration and being ornery will only make things worse. Then again, maybe stirring the pot and causing trouble is exactly what you would hope to do. Interesting. Well, that could also be the response video. Like exposing Shane's actual intention and Ryland seeing it. I think the diver isn't the part of the card that it's defining. I think it's the people around the card, surrounding the diver and pointing. The diver is Ryland. That's my feeling. You guys can put in the comments if you feel differently, but I think that is Ryland, and then him opening his eyes and realizing who actually caused the conflict and the problem. A lot of people think Ryland's complicit. I think Ryland did a don't ask, don't tell policy with Shane in this documentary. He knew shady stuff was going on, but he was like, if I don't ask, I don't need to know. Like, he's, don't tell me, I don't want to know. Like, that's how it was. That's just my instinct. Again, I feel like he isn't complicit, but he's wrong in his just accepting Shane's word for it, but that's love. Like, can't really fault someone if they think that their love is, if someone's being honest to them and they believe them, that's not really something you can fault them for if they love them. So I think this is the most likely outcome, right? This is like seeing, again, soul cage, rescue, escape from captivity and restriction. He's feeling like his perspective is being forced to be one way. And that's the way that Shane wants it to be. And I think Ryland knows that. Oh my god, look, an engagement ring, guys. Engagement ring, the heart ring, see? And then it's on top of this, which is like a little beach chair with the beach umbrella. The ring was on top of that, and this says diligence. It's like, we have been working so hard to make this work between us because of everything going on, the diligence, right, the hard work, and it's like, I want a vacation, I want to be able to get married to you and have our honeymoon and have our happily ever after. Why is everything falling apart? That's what that feels like to me. Okay, this quote says, the creation of 1,000 forces in one acorn. Yep, this is that one seed. Remember back to the first reading about Jeffree and his intentions and how all that happened. The seed that Jeffree planted grew this forest around Ryland that he's wondering, how did we get in all this garbage? How is everything getting ruined that we built? Because of that seed that your fiance was complicit in planting. He probably brought the shovel to plant the seed. He probably buried it. Jeffree placed it, Shane buried it. We know this now. Like, it's easy to say, like, well, we know this now. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for us to decide to look at information when we don't know these people personally, when we're not attached to people. Look at Blair White. Look how betrayed she was in knowing Shane personally. She had our perspectives. She was just like us. We were all fooled by Shane. but none of us knew him personally. She did. Look how crushed she was on her Instagram story. She was crying. She was like hysterical. That was a woman betrayed, and that was just his friend that didn't see him every day, that didn't sleep next to him, that doesn't live with him, that doesn't want to share a life with him or have children with him. So, I don't know, this is just my opinion, but before everyone jumps on the let's hate Ryland too, he's just as bad as Shane train, just consider for a moment, just close your eyes and imagine the person, being with the person that you've been with 4 years consistently, like, you have had no, like, huge, monumental problems. And you've fallen in love with this person, and you've already picked out your wedding book, like your wedding venue, and you've already like planned your life with this person. You know, you've already considered adoption with this person, the love of your life, and then all of a sudden, all this proof that he is nothing like he said to you, that he came off to be. He's nothing like you knew him to be. And then when you start going, well, obviously that's not true, and it's all, you know, it's all fake, and it's all, you know, slander. But then you kind of start thinking, right? You start thinking back to the filming of everything, and when you know, you notice different things in your partner. You notice them changing a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal, right? It hasn't been that. They're not a different person. They're not acting so different. But then you start thinking about the process, right? How Ryland wasn't really allowed to come along with Shane when he was going with Jeffree. If you think about it. I don't know if you guys remember, but I watched the whole thing. Ryland wanted to be there at Shane's side for the whole process with Jeffree, but he wasn't really allowed to do that, was he? No, he wasn't. He was kind of told to stay home and watch the dogs. I don't think that, and I'm sure Ryland had this moment of, wow, Shane wants me to stay home and watch the dogs. The Shane that I knew would want me to come with him and enjoy it with him, and like we're enjoying everything together and experiencing everything. But then he'd go, no, I'm sure it's fine. He's just trying to make sure that you know, we don't get too distracted, and we just film it and get it out there. I'll watch it when it goes up like everyone else. It's not like I live with him and I'm his husband, or I'm gonna be his husband or anything. It's not like I need to see the content before everyone else does that are, you know, his audience or whatever. Like, that's, those feelings that he'd stuff, they're kind of coming back up. Things are starting to make sense now in this most likely potential future. We have the luck. It's like, is it really just like a stroke of luck? Did these things just fall into his hands? Did Shane just happen to be in the middle of the James Jeffree thing, Tati thing? This is Ryland thinking. This is that, remember I told you about the 9 of Swords I pulled that time? He's like researching, he's starting to do his own, this is the most likely future, right? This hasn't happened yet. This is what's going to happen. The Mockingjay, like, rebellion face down, it's like, James, and this always comes up for who's the martyr, right? Who's the face of the rebellion? Is it Shane? Or is it because Shane's the villain of this? Like, that's Ryland. He's like, which one is it? Is Shane, I thought Shane was like standing up for himself, or is he just covering his ass because he is guilty? Like, that's what's going through Ryland's head in this area. I mean, the soul cage. The fact that the rescue escaped from captivity and restriction is what Ryland is going to feel. That's his situation soon in this most likely future. Snowflake indicates winter, so I think maybe during winter time. We have number 4. And I read charms with people. I say that every video, so if you see these charms, you think of something, I want you to add it to the comments, because you may be onto something in addition to me. Number 4, 4 and clover, 4-leaf clover. That's something I thought of too. 4-leaf clover is something that we always think exists, right? 3-leaf clovers, but isn't a 4-leaf clover like a leprechaun? It's like a unicorn, right? It's like something so rare that it might not even exist. And that, I think Ryland's wondering if the truth that he's been told, right? The truth that he believed from Shane, if that's true or if that's a 4-leaf clover. I think the snowflake is indicating that in the winter time, this is gonna happen. This realization is gonna happen. That's what I think the snowflake is. We have a cross, which is faith, having faith, and then a gun. Ooh, having a cross, it's not an upside down cross, by the way, it's right side up. Having a cross, I don't know if Ryland's religious or Catholic or Christian, but Maybe. Someone look into that. I don't know. This green bead is the heart chakra. And then this gun, pointed up. This is like Ryland feeling like a gun's to his head. There's like this pressure on Ryland. You know, I have to stand by my man like that. But then it's like, but is that the right thing to do? Because I'm starting to question my trust over him now. I don't know if, like, remember the trust, look, trust face down. Like, do I trust him still? Am I looking at this in denial? Now I'm just angry. So the gun, that concerns me. Like the gun to the, oh no, it's the gun to the cross. It's like, imagine the cross was a person and had a head. This is like putting a gun to the head of the cross, to the head of faith. It's like, I have faith in Shane, but maybe that's not what I need to have. Maybe that's not where I need to put my faith in anymore. Maybe I've been lied to, right? Clearing the excess. You are entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it is in your physical body or your physical space. It's like all these things that I buy, that Shane brings in with money, that he brings in from these things. Is this well-earned rewards? Or am I indulging in blood money? You know, or am I indulging in money that was horribly received? Am I living off of funds that were taken from, that were earned from really dishonest, immoral, in really dishonest or immoral ways? And he's probably gonna go through a phase where he's just suddenly like, I want to be a minimalist. I know that doesn't sound like Ryland at all. He's very materialistic. Because he's a Taurus. Taurus are known for wanting to lavish and luxury and feel so good and be in the bubble bath with all the bubbles and the stress relief lotion and the candles and the wine and the caviar and all that. But watch him suddenly shift, and this is how he copes. I think Ryland also copes by cleaning. I feel this energy of, nope, I just gotta clean, I gotta get my mind off it, I gotta clean. That's his way of meditating, is cleaning. Page of Cups, inspire, and a penny, face down. That's Shane. This is like, this is what Shane is focusing on right now, which is so inappropriate. It's like, why are you focusing on, Page of Cups is like a child. Notice that all the cards with Shane are pages, which is the child perspective of a situation. Childish perspective. Page of Cups. It's like, it's this little boy holding a cup and looking at the goldfish jumping out of it. It's like, look at what I don't have to focus on now. I'll get through it. I'm just gonna focus on what I'd like to create and inspire people with. And it's like, dude, you messed it up. Like, there's nothing more to, you can't go forward if you never address the present. He's living in the future. When he's living, his headspace is in a place where this is all over and everything's okay. And it's very delusional. And remember, he thinks he's the hero. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. That's what he's convinced himself of. Everyone's just lying about me, and it's like denial. It's denial, but not in the grief stages. It's like he's delusional. Like the tendencies we've seen that he has and he's capable of towards children. I think he's just convinced himself that he doesn't have those, and he never did, you know, as a way to cope with the moral aspect of it. I'm gonna look up Page of Cups real quick just to make sure. Here we go. Have you ever been feeling like you need to settle your emotions, like perhaps you might need to ground yourself back into your body and feel more engaged in what is going on in your life? The Page of Cups and his little fish are here to help. They want to assist you in focusing and drawing your energy back to the present moment where it will help you start something new. See, that's what I'm saying. I know I said he's living in the future and he's not living in the present, and this I'm reading, it says that, oh, he's living in the present. No. I think that they're just saying that presently he's focusing on something, right? And he is focusing on something presently, but he's focusing on creating new things, like his horror movie that he'd been working on before all this came out. And it's like, that's so, you can't do that right now, right? Like, you need to put out the fire that you started, but then you look at the fire and it's like, the fire's in Australia. Like, where are you gonna start? And everything's on fire. Or fireworks, right? Like, everything's exploding. This is actually an appropriate thing to be happening in the background. Things may seem like to be jumping all over the place at the moment, but like the fish in the cup, they're only a distraction. Something trying to teach you how to steady your emotions, control your mind, and ground your body. Wow, yeah, that tells me, and I think I was right, like, that tells me that Shane views all this drama and all these allegations and all these things he needs to address, instead of something that he's really actually regretting or ashamed of, he's like, but that was old me. Like, that way that he was talking to his video, like, that wasn't me, like, separating himself into two people, talking to himself and, like, oh, I hate that person. That's not me, but it is, right? I don't think it was manipulation. I think he genuinely thinks that he, at one point, was someone different, and he doesn't like that person, and as long as he disavows that person, then he's actually on the side of everyone else that is upset at that person. But that he is that person. I don't think he's realizing that in his delusions. He's focusing on, okay, well, that money, that way to make money is gone, so now I have to inspire people in another way and get money another way. He's like, I think that's enough to explain that. I do. Alright, sanctuary, and the elephant in reverse is forgetting something. This is remembering, this is forgetting. And that tells me you're forgetting something, and sanctuary, privacy, inviolate personal space, respected boundaries and taboos. Again, this is a little mix between the two of them. It's like both of them are indulging in all of the luxuries around them to distract themselves. They don't want to address anything because they want to live in their little world, their house where no one can get them. And Ryland's gonna start stepping out of that, and then when that starts happening, Shane's gonna be like indulging in it even more, because Shane's that emotional leader. He's the one that goes to the comforts. Oh, that's not happening. I'm in denial, right? The panic attacks and all that. So we have this 0 here, and it says 4 of Cups in reverse. And then we have this, which is childhood experiences, my past. Like, 'cause it's a little girl with the wells from the pails of water from the well, carrying them up the hill, like in the old days. So this in reverse is like, I'm going to blame my childhood. 4 of Cups in reverse. This is when it's not in reverse, 4 of Cups is like, I'm focusing on the emptiness, on the things I've used up, or on the things that I used already, or I don't have anymore. And then there's like a person that's offering you a full cup and you're not seeing them because you're so focused on what you don't have. When it's in reverse, I feel like with the 0 and it's like he doesn't want to focus on all the bad shit, you know? It's kind of like a reiteration of Page of Cups. I want to see, but like I said, with the reverses, this book is a little different, and this picture's not really giving me anything. So I want to see what they say. But I feel like it's just a deepening of this card. Do you know what is on the other side of boredom? Most people don't know how to answer the question because they've never had to break through to the other side. Instead, they feed their monkey mind to rid themselves of boredom. Yeah, I just said, see? Him trying to find another way to make money. Oh, new project. Oh, to do my horror movie. Blah, 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 blah. That's something else I can think of because I'm bored of this situation because I don't want to deal with it. See, I was right. It's like a continuation of that. Yet it's also his ADHD. It's definitely his ADHD on top of that he's using it as an excuse. His tangents and his attention deficit disorder. Yet there's something to be said about going deeper, about not giving into the emotions that plague the mind and allowing oneself to fully explore why we feel bored, overwhelmed, or even pity. Yep, we know Shane's the pity party right now. You know, he's always the victim, like I said. There's a point beyond the boredom when the mind is finally quiet and still, a moment where a magical mermaid can come along and offer you the most magical gift. If you want to get there, you must first release your need to feed your emotions. What did I just say? Comfort eating. That's what this is. That's gonna be him overindulging. This is the future. Ryland's gonna be like, okay, but maybe you should answer for some of these things. Maybe you should address some of these things. She's gonna be like, oh, sorry, Ryland, I can't hear you. I'm filming for my horror movie. Sorry, Ryland, I can't hear you. I'm trying to focus on writing a script. I'm trying to do this and this and this and this and this. I don't even know what that is. That was so 2 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on. And then the last card here is reflections. What you contemplate can actualize. It's like where his head's at. What you contemplate can actualize. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror. If you think about yourself in a delusional way, which is what Shane's doing, he's going to breed more delusion. If he's looking at himself, right, instead of seeing his reflection in the water of who he is, he's just seeing, ooh, look at that really cool, imagine if I came out of the water and I was like in Moana and the ocean was a thing. Ooh, that'd be a great script idea. He's distracting himself and actualizing his denial, and he's getting more and more distracted and delusional. And he's backtracking away from this. He's completely he can't come to terms with it. So that's what he's what he's contemplating is different things, distractions, and he's not going to attract those things in a good way. He's noticed that all his outlets, all like, oh, I want to make a movie. Well, now Will Smith is going to make sure that you can't make a movie in Hollywood. So notice that the universe is shutting down all the facets, and YouTube stopped monetizing him. So any new video he came out with, he won't get paid, right? Notice that the universe is basically taking out every single way that Shane could successfully distract and move on, because this is something that needs to be addressed. This is something he needs to acknowledge, and he needs to go and change, and what's the word? He needs to feel remorse. He needs to, I mean, I think he does to some extent, but he's like, I apologize, I'm done. I already apologized for that. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to not suffer. It's not suffering. It's like, you need to serve your sentence, so to speak. And he doesn't want to do that. He thinks that saying I'm sorry is enough for all the pain he's caused. Because he's a different person now. I didn't do those things. Me from a few years ago did those things. We're totally different people. And I hate him too. We're on the same side. I also hate old me. But he's literally like, I'm the new me, so I don't deserve to pay for what old me did. That's where Shane is, and that's what he keeps bringing more of, breeding more delusion. And I think this also applies to Ryland, because if Ryland starts seeing the truth becomes an actualization. He starts stepping out of, he's going to get to that stage of grief all the way at the bottom. And I'll put it here too. He's going to get to that stage of grief all the way at the bottom, where it's realization, or I believe it's acceptance. When that happens, which, is their engagement going to be called off? Are they going to break up? I can't answer that, because that's too far into the future, to be honest with you. We're not even to the part where he starts questioning the engagement. Never mind deciding to break up. Because if someone decides to call off a wedding, that doesn't mean they're going to break up. Okay? But Ryland's going to be in the denial and anger stage, and the bargaining stages after that, I believe. He's going to be in those stages, and he's going to take a long time to get to acceptance. And once he gets to acceptance, then he can finally start weighing his options on what should I do based on how I feel for this person. Is my feelings for this person, has that changed? Now that I've contemplated new information. What you contemplate, you actualize. That's where I'm going to end my reading. This is just a shitty situation because of all this stuff that's being revealed, but you know what they say, guys, right? All in the dark will come to light. And on that, please like and subscribe. I'll post another reading. My next reading is going to be on Rich Lux. Probably going to try to get that out within 2 or 3 days. I know I said that I was going to do this reading as Rich Lux, but again, the poll, I had to address this reading first. If you guys want a personal reading from me, you can check the description, and my email's there. Just shoot me an email. It's $15 for the first reading. After that, it's $30. And I usually we exchange information on Discord, and we call on Discord, and I'll give you that reading. I hope that the beauty community and the YouTube community in general can get past this. And I hope you all take breaks from scrolling on Twitter, because it can be exhausting to take in all that negativity. Just take care of yourselves, okay? I care about you guys. I appreciate all of this support. Please leave a comment with any other suggestions for future readings. I made a list. I'm going to continue to add to that list. I'll see you guys next video.